You ever get involved with people that make you doubt your critical thinking skills? I have. The worst nomad I ever met, Donnie, was a magnet for police and drama. From domestic disputes to stealing TVs out of hotel rooms. I always felt being in a 1% club was about the ride. It was about the motorcycles, chilling with your brothers. But the politics make you realize it's not really what you signed up for. Sometimes clubs begin to just use their motorcycles as a form of transportation on their path to greed and power. I never understood why it was so important to gain a position. Being a sergeant of arms for most of my time, I always looked at it as a responsibility, not a flex. When you meet a 1%er from another club, you're supposed to say, I'm Sos, sergeant of arms, insert club name here. But me, I always said, what's up, I'm Sos. I just never felt the need to be that status quo type person. And that's not what clubs usually do. They usually state their position. I never cared about my position. It never defined me. I always saw myself as more. But there are some brothers that use a title to make themselves seem like they're more important. I've always felt important. I didn't need that. Donnie, my nomad brother at the time, was looked at as a big homie. I use this type of terminology because of my past, where I came from, meaning someone in a higher position of importance. Donnie was my big homie, but with homeboys like Donnie, who needs enemies? Let's talk about my dysfunctional family. So we're heading to the Bronx, leaving Albany after a disastrous night. Donnie decided he was gonna steal the TV of the motel room that we rented, which was in my name. I said, Donnie, you're gonna pay for this TV if they start calling me and coming after me. I told him I'm not gonna pay for your theft with your thieving ass. You can't make this up. He says, I do this all the time, brother. As long as you pay with cash, you're good. If you get calls, just don't pick up. He really believes this. And I believe him when he says, I don't know if it was really true, if he did it all the time, but it seemed like a natural thing for him to do. I just didn't get it. Good thing we paid with cash, but it was still in my name. My ID was an old address where I don't stay anyway. So I said, Donnie, it's a box. Why do you need that? And I mean, the old school TVs, the boxes, it was a little white TV, a little white box. So this man says, I needed it for my wife. So basically, F me, your wife needs a box. I told him, with friends like you, who needs enemies? Now, this ain't no flat screen we're talking about here. Brothers don't burn brothers like that. So we get back to the Bronx, and I immediately distance myself. I really wanted nothing to do with this man. I didn't care who said what club said what. I didn't want nothing to do with this dude. I needed space from him. At this time, I have an open case, and I have a couple of court dates before I get sentenced. I got a lot on my mind, a lot of stress. I got to see what's going on with my situation. I got to do what's right for me. Back home, me and my girl at the time decided that we were going to have the baby, no abortions. Well, she kind of decided that for me. I took her out on a nice little lunch, and I, paid a good amount of money to eat somewhere nice, and kind of tried to proposition her like, yo, maybe this isn't the best decision. Me getting ready to go up north. Maybe we shouldn't do this. She was not hearing it. It is what it is. My daughter's here now. I love her. It is what it is. So one day we're laying down. I get a call. It's Donnie. I'm looking at the phone like, oh my God. So I tell her, I'm like, yo, is this fool on the phone? She's like, oh no. I looked at the phone and I thought to myself, why? Like, you ever seen Don't Be a Menace to Drinking South Central while drinking juice in your hood? When Crazy Legs gets shot and he takes the little shoe and he goes, why? That's how I felt. So I tell her I gotta pick up, because you never know what it is. Even though he's crazy, he's still your brother. So you never know if he really needs you. She says, hell no, that man's a psycho. Don't pick that up. And I say, he's still my brother. So I pick up. What's the first thing he says as soon as I pick up? Hey, baby brother, to put you in your position. So I said, I'm a grown ass man, Donnie. What do you want? He says, brother, I need you to come to the crib. It's club business. If you're in a club or ever been in one, you know when a brother tells you it's club business, that means it's serious and you gotta roll. So he hangs up the phone. When you're an outlaw and you get these type of calls, it's time to ride. But knowing this dude, it could be anything or nothing. So I hang up. I tell my girl I gotta roll. She was like, you serious? You got a family to worry about? We got our own problems. This dude is gonna make your situation worse. Just stay home. And I told her, he's my brother. I gotta roll. You know how this goes. If you're a person that's thinking about joining an outlaw motorcycle club, it is not an all the time thing, but sometimes you will get that call and you're expected to roll. Smash that like button too. If you know damn well, if you're laid up in the bed with your old lady and never in a million years would you pick up that phone, do not join a 1% club. You shouldn't join any club that has like serious expectations. If you know yourself, if they call you at 2 a.m. or something, you know you're not going to pick up the phone, don't even do it. And I know a lot of brothers that are in clubs, and if you call them at that time, you ain't going to get through. But there are consequences sometimes for that. And don't get it twisted. There's diamonds that will hit you, and it's tough when you're the type of person that I am, because I never would have beef on my own accord. I move by myself a lot. I never have issues. But if your brother has issues, you have issues. So I go in his apartment. It's on 176th Street by Jerome Avenue, very close to Yankee Stadium, a rough part of the Bronx. If you're not from there and you go to Yankee Stadium, don't wander around. It gets dark. Depending on what, direction you walk in, you're in the South Bronx. Don't get it twisted. So I go inside his apartment. He's all excited. He got his shirt off. He got basketball shorts on. And you guessed it, boots. The man stuck to his code. He never broke the rule. He always had his feet covered, even in his house. It's very strange. The man's feet, if they ever get seen, must look like he walks on African coals every day. But I digress. So I look to the left and I see, his wife is there. He said, yo, this is my wife, brother. And she's like, hi, nice to meet you. I kid you not. As she's saying hi to me, what do you think she was doing? She was watching the TV this man stole from the hotel room. You can't make this shit up. And she looked happy watching this little, you can't make this up. I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone, even just thinking about it. So Donnie pulls me to the back and I tell him, I've been getting calls by the Albany police about that TV. And I told him I had left the door a little bit open, not fully closed. So someone must have came after me. Really shitty excuse, but they left it alone after a while for whatever reason. I guess because I'm like way out of the jurisdiction. I think because we were in New York City and it was Albany, it was too small for our case, so they didn't care. Lucky too, because I'm basically waiting to get sentenced for my prior charge. That little stunt could have added time to my sentence and made me look like a fool in front of that judge. So I brought it up to Donnie and he's like, see, I told you it wasn't nothing. You shouldn't have never picked up the phone. This man could not spell accountability. Just cared zero about my situation. So he says, forget that. We got important business to handle. This man's talking about me and my livelihood like it's not a priority. So I said, Donnie, please tell me what's more important than my livelihood right now. So he proceeds to tell me that him and a friend of his got into an altercation with a block that is known for being a lot of Crips on that block, and they kind of banged out. They were outnumbered. They didn't get beat up, like dropped to the ground or anything like that, but they got jumped. So, we gotta, get busy. We gotta retaliate. So let me give you some backstory on this. We already had issues with this block before, and it was over what? Donnie, as usual, it was over a female. He was going to this block, seeing this girl. He told me one time, listen, come with me, because this block, there'd be a lot of people outside when I go to see this girl. So I go with him to see this girl, and I seen the tension was high. So he had some words with members of that block, and it got heated. So what happened was, we devised a plan. We went over there like 3 cars deep, and we checked them. We hopped out, and they were nervous as hell. We jumped out of 3 cars, no bikes. This is cars at this time. You jump out the cars, and you get busy. The people that were on the block were not the exact people that he had the words with, but I told him, I was like, listen, you got a problem with my brother. So the member told me, I'm the big homie of this block, and I'm gonna talk to my little homies and we're gonna squash this out. It ain't gonna be no issues. So we get out of there. Donnie keeps going back to that block to see this girl. So he would bring me, and sometimes he would go on his own. I remember there was a time that I was with him and he started talking to one of the dudes. And he was like, yo, everything is cool. That wasn't nothing. He kept talking about the situation. And I told him, Donnie, stop talking to those dudes. They're going to think you're soft. When you're in situations like that, people are going to start thinking you're soft. If we already had words with them, why are you talking to them? Why are you trying to be cool with them? They're going to think that because it's only two of us, you're nervous. Or if you're by yourself, you're nervous. So I tell him, Donnie, when we're walking in the building, I'm like, Donnie, stop talking to them dudes. They're going to think you're soft and they're going to make a move on you. He did not listen to me and he kept on talking to these dudes. And that's why this situation happened. So here's how it goes. We had 2 cars that time. We crowded too many people in the one car I was in. Everybody's all stuffed in together. And when we hop out the car, me and my boy Luch, we're getting busy. We see them. We start fighting. We're kicking ass. So me and my boy Luch, we're busting them up. We got one on the ground. The rest of them are getting beat up. It's a total W. But what happens next? You can't make this up. They're like, yo, come on, we out. So me and Luch are still hitting. We get up. You kind of snap out of it. And then we're going to get in the car. They pull off on us. They leave us in an enemy territory on this block. So what happens? A whole bunch of people start coming out with sticks, fathers, everybody that's related to them coming out with sticks, bats, all that stuff. Me and my boy Luch start running. I was always the doughboy of the crew. They call me doughboy. I was the chubby Ice Cube type. I would stay and fight, but the running stuff never was really my thing. So we go to run. And I just want to add on a side note, you cannot say that I don't keep it real because I talk about wins and losses. I never sugarcoat. And this is how the streets are. There's wins and there's losses. Anybody that walks around and acts like they won every situation is a fakest dude you will ever meet. He never been in no real situations. So we're running. Luch is gaining speed. Me, I'm slow as hell. I am not a runner. So I get hit from behind. Crutches. They break. So I get hit in the back of my head with crutches. Boom. I keep running. I don't go down. But I'm not fast. So I'm moving slow. And these dudes are slamming, muscular. They moving fast. Another dude hits me with like a cane or a stick, like a walking cane. In the back of the head, I go down. I don't black out though. As soon as I'm going down, you can't make this shit up. I see Donnie's car passing us. I'm on the ground getting totaled. They're hitting me with stuff and all that. And by the grace of God, they didn't put me in the hospital. They didn't do me like super, super dirty. I wasn't bleeding. I didn't have black eyes, none of that. I probably had busted ribs or something though. But they didn't do us dirty. They really could have did us bad because they had us both. And Luch, shout to him. He slowed down. He caught the beating with me. He could have got away really and truly because he was getting closer to Gun Hill. This was on Jerome in the Bronx, right by Gun Hill. And he could have got away and he stopped because he seen they caught me and he took a bad one too. So we're laid out. People call cops, ambulance, all that. Cops come. We don't want to talk to them. The ambulance comes. I'm like, Luch, you okay? And then he was like, yo, I'm just a little beat up, but like, yo, I'm going to kill this dude when we get back to the block. And I'm like, yeah, this is a crazy situation. So we're not beat bad enough that we really needed to go to the hospital. We're young. We're just like bruised up or whatever it may be. We're still a block and a half away from their block. So the ambulance tells us, do you want to go to the hospital? And I said, no, just take us down the block to where we live. And he said, we can't do that. It's either we got to take you to the hospital or nothing. And I said, listen, if you leave us on this block, they're going to kill us. So, they probably weren't. I feel like they got theirs. They caught us, they wasn't trying to take us out like that. But you don't know, you don't know. So the ambulance was cool. He actually took us down the block and let us off over there. I'm not going to lie to you. When we went back to the block, we were infuriated. Me and Luch went after Donnie. A lot of the brothers broke us up. I just wanted a piece of him because how could you leave your brothers in a situation like, what if we would have got shot? Like, these are dudes that are known for putting in real work. You left us in a situation where we might not have made it home. And we went there for you. It wasn't even our drama. The dude looks at me straight in my face and says, yo, I did not see you. I thought you were in the car. Like, how do you not know I'm in the car? Like that, you know what I mean? Like, let me know in the comments if you think that's a legitimate thing to say. Like, yo, it's so many people. I didn't realize you weren't in the car. It's like, bro, what type, like, who does that, you know? And then he tried to make it seem like he went back once he realized. I think he was lying, personally. But it was just another Donnie situation where there was no accountability. But one thing I noticed, God prepared me for my bid. I had became soft. Not soft in the sense of being bullied, but soft in the sense of like life was too easy. Donnie was actually a huge gift that got my mind. It was such a hectic lifestyle. He got me used to dealing with people that are irrational. Because a couple of months later, up north in Gowanda Correctional Facility, I would meet irrational people, to say the least. To tell you the truth, when I got inside there, it was calm compared to the atmosphere that Donnie had created. And spending time in prison, it made me realize most of these people have mental health issues. A lot of them should be on medication and in an asylum, not in prison. Wherever you are, Donnie, I still don't like you. But thank you for preparing me.